This technology shocked the world. Swarms of combat drones take to the skies over Ukraine every day. The buzzing of UAVs has long been the most common sound on the forefront. Due to the trenched nature of the Russian-Ukrainian war, it's often compared to World War I. However, the active use of drones turns it into a real steampunk. Drones that were used in 2020 to shoot video or deliver goods have now turned into weapons. Who produces the best weapons in the world? Of course, the United States. Since 2022, the U.S. drones have been proving their elite status in practice. American military drones are at the top of the technology development and boast such advanced features as stealth, long-range strike accuracy, and real-time intelligence gathering. The U.S. Army has more than 11,000 drones in its arsenal, making it the largest drone force in the world. Some models have already changed the course of the war in Ukraine after being deployed to the forefront as military aid. What makes American UAVs the best in the world, and do they have any drawbacks? You're about to find out. Not every American drone is directly used by Ukraine, but it changes the course of the war anyway. We're talking about the best and most expensive U.S. Army MQ-9 Reaper UAV.
Value that the MQ-9 provides is really unmatched with modern aircraft.
This is a reconnaissance UAV that frequently performs strategic missions. The operation of the MQ-9 Reaper is not an easy task and requires the cooperation of different people. The remote crew is responsible for flight operations, including takeoffs, landings, navigation, and mission execution. One drone requires 3 times as many crew as a traditional fighter jet, such as the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. That's why the intelligence from this device is passed on to Ukrainians by NATO partners directly. It was the most accurate reconnaissance machine available in 2022, which helped to stop the enemy and organize a prompt response.
Drones can be very precise, very accurate. They can hit the target if you have the right information about that target.
However, the MQ-9 has had a rather difficult last 2 years with a number of incidents that have undermined the reputation of the drone. The case of the loss of the Reaper over the Black Sea stands out from the rest. After repeated pursuits, a Russian Su-27 fighter jet forced the MQ-9 to go down, exacerbating the already tense relations between the two countries. Other incidents occurred in Syria and the Middle East, none of which added to the credibility of the U.S. Air Force drone. However, it continues its work and will be in service for many years to come, despite all the problems. It's difficult to overestimate the contribution this machine makes to global security, just as it's difficult to overestimate the effectiveness of the Switchblade, which is successfully used by Ukrainian special forces. The Switchblade is a smart munition produced by AeroVironment Company. According to public data, there are 2 versions of it, Switchblade 300 and Switchblade 600. What's the difference between this drone and other UAVs? First, after launch, it can change the priority of the target. The operator can choose the target or launch the kamikaze drone in free flight mode, i.e. reconnaissance. In this case, the drone flies to the target area, searches for the target, and takes appropriate actions to destroy the heavy armored vehicles of the enemy. Secondly, they can be controlled from a distance of up to 24 miles and can stay in the air for up to 40 minutes. Another version is more effective against enemy tanks, missile launchers, and artillery. It's worth noting that the world has been quite skeptical of kamikaze drones until recently. Even the United States. Israel can be considered the first to use them, but after the war in Nagorno-Karabakh, the point of view changed radically. Nowadays, hundreds of such units are participating in the liberation of Kharkiv in southern Ukraine. However, the United States is not only transferring high-tech weapons, but also simpler and cheaper ones, such as the Cyberlux K8, which is a modernized FPV drone. The website of the manufacturer has no information about this model, but they do offer the Money Shot X8 model, which the developer positions as the first FPV drone in the world for large-format cameras. It can carry a payload of up to 10 pounds and reach speeds of over 100 miles per hour. We can conclude that the drone is definitely not making a Hollywood movie in Ukraine, but there are also special effects. In addition, in case of participation of the NATO forces in Ukraine, even this magnificent aircraft designed for the Expeditionary Corps will be seen in the sky. It's the Kratos XQ-58 Valkyrie. This drone, equipped with artificial intelligence, is capable of flying autonomously and completing missions.
So think about the Vanguard programs that the Air Force has rolled out to say this represents the future.
This drone can launch smaller drones from its weapons bay. To do this, it was necessary to invent a whole innovative technology.
Some of the avionics are custom and designed by us and by some of our suppliers specifically for the Valkyrie.
We don't know more detailed specifications, but this is one of the most technologically advanced machines that have ever taken to the skies. But of course, there were also instances that slightly spoiled the attitude towards drones. One of them was a Skydio device, hundreds of which were donated to the Ukrainian army. With a maximum flight time of 35 minutes, a speed of 43 miles per hour, an additional thermal camera, and a cost of $50,000, these drones failed to perform any task. Skydio CEO Adam Bry admitted that his drones were helpless. During operation, it became clear that they were fragile and unable to overcome Russian technologies for jamming and disabling GPS. The drones were sometimes unable to take off, complete a mission, or return. American drones often did not confirm the declared distances or weight of the permissible load. However, this did not damage the reputation of the company, as it does not position itself as a weapons manufacturer. But the following interesting devices that Ukraine is waiting for will definitely surprise you. It's recently become known that the United States will provide Ukraine with Felon 1.0 attack drones equipped with a 5.56mm machine gun and Felon X drones equipped with a Spike anti-tank missile. They look like Chinese Mavics, but it would not be Americans if they did not create another death machine. The Felon 1.0 is armed with a 5.56mm machine gun and is suitable for reconnaissance missions, perimeter protection, or counterterrorism operations. The Felon X UAV is capable of firing the smallest missile in the world, the Spike. The developers claim that the drone is compact and has a fairly high payload, but they don't provide exact specifications. The Spike missile is an effective Israeli-made anti-tank weapon that competes with systems such as the FGM-148 Javelin. That is, it's an autonomous flying javelin. The effectiveness of such a weapon against a Russian tank is not difficult to imagine, but the price of a missile at $70,000 is the same as 140 conventional drones. Despite this, American drones are indispensable in the region. Compared to their counterparts from Russia and Iran, American technologies dominate and will continue to dominate. It's enough to increase the quantity. The strategic importance of these weapons is also evident of the emergence of a separate branch of the military that will only gain in importance. The dominance of these drones underscores the United States' commitment to protecting its interests and allies in the region. Still, the question remains, why are U.S. drones the best in the world, even despite some of the aforementioned setbacks? It's all about the free trade. The U.S. Army procurement process involves fair but fierce competition between manufacturers. Success means long-term contracts and jobs, so every manufacturer is trying to beat the competition. That's how the RQ-9 Reaper, X-47B, and other legendary machines were created. Thus, U.S. military drones in Ukraine are a unique tool that demonstrates unmatched accuracy, speed, and efficiency on the battlefield. Ukrainian manufacturers are not lagging behind either, with less technologically advanced, but more mass-produced drones coping with the challenges of this war. Ukrainian FPV drones for $200 destroy Russian turtle tanks. The video of a Russian Frankenstein tank, which looks more like a Mark I in bad shape than a product of Soviet tank building, has recently appeared on the internet. This design is not accidental. It was created to prevent the destruction of equipment using the breakthrough technology of this war, FPV drones with a warhead. These drones are hundreds and sometimes thousands of times cheaper than their targets. Most of them are made by enthusiasts using parts from Chinese websites and knowledge of basic radio electronics. This grassroots initiative is changing the course of modern warfare. NATO countries don't have such technologies in mass production, but they're actively providing support with other unmanned vehicles. How comparable are they to Ukrainian developments? What else do they have? You can find out right now. It's recently become known that the United States will provide Ukraine with modern Felon 1.0 attack drones equipped with a 5.56mm machine gun and Felon X drones equipped with a Spike anti-tank missile. They look similar to the Chinese Mavic, but have significant differences in power. The Felon 1.0 is perfect for reconnaissance missions, perimeter security, or counterterrorism operations. The Felon X is capable of firing the smallest missile in the world, the Spike. The developers claim that the drone is compact and has a fairly high payload, but they don't provide exact specifications. The Spike missile is an effective Israeli-made anti-tank weapon that competes with weapons such as the FGM-148 Javelin. That is, it's an autonomous flying javelin. The effectiveness of such a weapon against a Russian tank with a cannon is not difficult to imagine, but the price of a missile at $70,000 is equal to the cost of 140 prefabricated drones. However, tactical developments alone cannot win a war, so the United States is actively developing operational-level technologies. The Kratos XQ-58A Valkyrie is an experimental long-range unmanned combat aircraft developed by Kratos Defense and Security Solutions in partnership with the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory. The Valkyrie took to the skies for the first time in March 2019 and is currently in the final stages of development.
So think about the Vanguard programs that the Air Force has rolled out to say this represents the future.
The drone is 29 feet long, like a medium-sized bus, and has a wingspan of 26 feet. With a maximum takeoff weight of 5,900 pounds, it can reach a cruising speed of 545 miles per hour. The Valkyrie can fly at a maximum altitude of 45,900 feet and a range of 3,500 miles. In December 2022, the U.S. Marine Corps ordered 2 XQ-58 Valkyries for its program and conducted its first test flight at Edgeland Air Force Base in October 2023. However, the most interesting thing about it is the use of artificial intelligence. The 3-hour flight near Edgeland Air Force Base was conducted for the first time in history using artificial intelligence algorithms.
And all of those proof of concept elements have been demonstrated with the Valkyrie as it's evolved.
Its programming was matured over millions of hours in simulation and digital environments in flights with the experimental F-16 known as the X-62 Vista.
Some of the avionics are custom and designed by us and by some of our suppliers specifically for the Valkyrie.
It's interesting how artificial intelligence will interpret the Russian tank from the beginning of our video. Write your versions in the comments. But this drone can be used on the battlefield no earlier than 2025, and by then all targets can be destroyed by the following development. The EOS Technology Company has completed the next stage of testing for the Volace 330 barrage munition, which has already been dubbed the Mini Shad 238. Top speed of over 250 miles per hour, range of 60 miles, and aerodynamic design of the French Mini Shahed 238 have been confirmed, the company said. The barrage munition is to receive an armor-piercing cumulative warhead, as well as an innovative technology that'll ensure overcoming active defense systems. The Nexter already has experience with this type of warhead due to its work on the 155mm bonus artillery projectile. Its reusability will also allow it to carry out reconnaissance missions thanks to a powerful optical station that can detect a vehicle at a distance of 9 miles during the day and up to 1 mile at night. The strike system will also integrate an advanced track navigation system that's independent of satellite navigation systems. This navigation system should provide an unprecedented level of protection against enemy electronic warfare systems. This is an excellent system for the conditions of war with Russia, and something tells me that we'll soon see it in action. Ukrainian developers have several similar analogs, but the declared counteraction to the electronic warfare and the possibility of a return still looks better. The only thing left to do is test it in practice, the way the British do it. Their Banshee jet drone, or one identical in design, has appeared in Ukraine. We know Banshee is a jet-powered drone. This drone began to hunt for targets on its own in Ukraine. Photos and videos of the drone began to circulate on social media. They show the Banshee after it crashed behind the Russian front line. The Russian Federation reports that the drone was neutralized in the area of occupied Novoazovsk, which is 55 miles from the current front line. This range is quite likely for the Banshee Jet 80 Plus, as the target version of this drone has an operational range of 62 miles. The flight time of the Banshee Jet 80 Plus is more than 45 minutes with a mixed flight profile and a speed range of 100 miles per hour to 450 miles per hour. In other words, it's quite possible that the drone can fly exactly over 60 miles at cruising speed in one direction and it's quite possible that 120 miles is not the limit for it. Moreover, London has announced plans to transfer hundreds of such strike UAVs, and the number 35 is visible on the fuselage of this one, which may indicate that this is only the beginning of their use. For Ukraine, such technologies are no longer new. Kamikaze drones flying only in one direction have been causing trouble for the enemy for almost a year now, and they cost much less than the British development. However, it's not the price of the ammunition that's important here, but the cost of the target. In conclusion, I'd like to remind you that we have many more videos on our channel about UAVs, aviation equipment, and other incredible military technologies. So subscribe if you're not with us yet, and enjoy your viewing. See you soon.